Yo, it's me, ready for the Daily 31. I'm not sure if you can read this because I can't, but it's the same old, same old. And we're about at the same part, so I'm not going to waste your guys' time. Let's see what I got here. Well, it reads, I got point 20 miles to go, so let's get this started. All right. This is what you wanted. But anyway, yeah. Like I said earlier, uh, I actually typed it, so I think I'm gonna take a little break off my quote unquote soapbox because I felt myself starting to sound like a little bit like Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit, and those guys aren't. That's not what I wanna. That's not who I am, dude. I don't. We celebrate women over here, man. None of that disrespectful crap. I mean, unless she earned it, and you know what I mean? She's like an abuser of kids. You best believe I'll call her out her name, you know what I mean? But other than that, we respect women around here. It just goes for the same for anybody, you know. Everyone starts out at a 10, but it's like when you force my hand and you're being a 1 and you're in my way, I'm going to just call it like it is. And if anyone doesn't like it, I mean, you got to ask yourself, who's the wrong one? The one getting mad at the person calling out, or the person, having the person get to a point where they have to call them out. It's like you have to take a step back and see how you're analyzing the situation. But anywho, like I said, I don't want to sound anything like them. We celebrate women around here. We celebrate goddesses and whatnot, and believe that, like I'm for actually original feminism, but not the new stuff. But yeah, I'm for women's rights, dude. I really am. I don't know what's going on now, but what it originally stood for, oh yeah, I'm for it. Um, so, and lastly, the only reason I say these things that I believe is to give you a piece of who I am now, because I know people from my past will stumble upon this and think that they can just come at me like I'm the same person who I was. Nah, that would be a mistake, first off. So I'm giving them leeway right now and people warning through my videos. They're not threats. They're just letting you know how I stand, where my mindset is now. So that's the only reason I talk like that. And but in the at the end of the day, I'm not making it for people in my town per se. I'm making it for everybody. I just know that there are people, like I said before, you know, I've been followed and stalked by people in groups, which they call gang stalking. So, you know, it is what it is. But I know that things can get twisted and, misconstrued. And I don't want that to happen. So, no matter what rumor they made about me, as long as I'm doing these, I figured, hey, I did the 3 years of the early morning routine, not missed one day in 3 years. But no one's really heard my stance on anything, and because a lot of these people that moved into my town, that I've been in for 30 years, started saying that I was racist and I'm some kind of sicko, that person that everyone joins forces with in jail to destroy. They were trying to say that I was that, and that's where they kind of crossed the line. I don't play like that. You can call me fag, you can drop any kind of slur you want, because I know who I am at the end of the day. It doesn't affect me. But when you start saying that I'm when you start making implications that I'm some kind of sicko, and you think that's a laugh right now, that I just, like, that's a funny haha, no, dude. It's like, you lost your mind, dude. You not only put me in danger, but you actually put my family in danger. Because there are people that are actually sickos, and people outside of their circle will attack not only the sicko, which is totally understandable, but they'll take it a step further and start attacking their family, and that's not, I'll do what I have to do to protect them, even if I end up in the box, That's how much I love them. We may not all get along, but the fact that they put up with me as long as they did, man, that shows a lot. And well, at the end of the day, I just love them. They're my family, dude. And so that's why I felt I had to be transparent on my first few videos. Since the rumors had flown around for all this time, for the last 8 years, man, it was really rough. Every job I go into, there'd be someone just mean mugging me. Then they send people into the store, just start looking at me and then start coughing like, like it wasn't. It's like, no one coughs like that. It's not genuine. You know how someone says something, you're with a friend, and they may be talking too much, and you kind of go, kind of get them to be quiet, which isn't really discreet anyway, because it's like the other person can tell that they went too far by your cough, right? You gave a signal away. Well, they come in and, do that, and I mean, they did all kinds of, that's like not even, that's just mellow what they did, But I don't want to focus too much on what they did, rather than just me trying to, once again, show you that I'm not that person, Because I already tried to show it through just me walking. I'd walk to this, like, look, 10 years ago when I was on dope and whatnot, I'd be at home and do dope, and that was it, But when I wasn't doing anything, I'd be walking to the store on the side and reading and whatnot. And I have people on my street follow me and just stare, and then all of a sudden rumors are being started, you know what I mean? It was the same guy who would just come in everywhere I go. He'd just show up, dude. It was on some creepy ass shit, dude. And he's not even from around here, but he had everyone on my street hoodwinked into believing that I was like, I mean, I can't even really tell you what, because at the end of the day, I really don't know what they said I did. It's almost as if they told everyone to pretend to act that way, because really, if you told someone, if you said, hey, this guy did this and that, or he's one of these, slap label on it, you're going to kind of want a story to follow up with it, right? Like, well, why is he that? Why are you calling him that? But people in this town got hoodwinked, and they started believing these stories about me. And, it's pretty sad, I mean, 8 years, man, because I moved here and I was like the only black kid around here. But I mean, I at least thought I got treated with a lot of respect from the people around here. People were very nice to me over here in this city, I was a little bubbly guy, I was really, really bubbly back then, up until just 4 years ago. It just pushed me to a point where it's like, man, I can't get a job because every time, you know what I mean? Like, not to keep repeating myself, but I can't do anything because you're sabotaging it. Example, I had work at Taco Bell, and I went out to go for, to walk to work. And that guy that stalks me lived across the street. He was walking back from that area, and he was with his girlfriend, but he was walking his kid. And you know what? We had problems, but I was like, in my heart, I was like, that's the first time I seen him even be near his kid, and he's walking the stroller. I was actually happy. I was like, does this guy get his life together? Well, I don't like him, but good for him. I was generally happy. But I come to find out, I get to work. There's two guys in there that are installing some kind of system, And they kept making these comments every time all the other workers would go away, and they'd be like, yeah, Alex is the big homie, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, that's his name. That's the stalker's name. I don't care if he's your big homie, you know? Kick you in the balls, you'll be a small, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care, but they were trying to like scare me or something, instill some kind of fear. And I guess after that day he had showed up, it was obvious that he had shown up to my job and started saying something, because those two guys. And another thing, 2 weeks before that, I kept getting these notifications from Riverside, California. And actually, it was for like 3 months. I would get these notifications from Riverside on the news app. I didn't have it, you know, that's where my grandparents live, but I didn't set it up like that. But those two guys that said that my stalker is the homie, the big homie to them, when I got off work, they waited by the car, and it was like they were waiting for me so they can inadvertently tell me, say, yeah, Riverside. They literally did that. Of course, I froze in my steps, like, okay, like, I know I'm stalked, right? So that's not shocking, but it's like, what's the deal, dude? Are we gonna throw hands right now, or what? Like, are you just trying to scare me on some spook shit, or are we gonna throw hands? You know, it's two of you, but me, with all the anger I have, you really want to go there? You know what I mean? You guys are construction workers, blah, 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 and I'm just some Taco Bell guy with 10 push-ups in. But when you start making rumors like that, you know what I mean? I can turn into two bears, you know what I mean? Like, and that's true for anybody. It's like a mother protecting her kid. You know, you can really bring out the real person in somebody by putting them in that situation. And guess what? I don't want to be like that, dude. He wanted to snuff my light, and he wanted me to be so rageful that people around would just be like, oh yeah, you're right about the rumors, blah, 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 whatever they are, because he's angry, and like, why should he be angry, you know? But like, I've had to cut people off on the street that I've known since 1996, dude. The last 5 years, I cut them off, dude. They were mean mugging me and whatnot, and I'm like, I didn't do shit. I didn't do a goddamn thing to them. Dropping N-bombs, and it's funny because that same guy uses our trash can without even asking. So basically, he's used us. We've never asked a goddamn thing from him, but he wants to, you know, act like I did something, and you know what I mean? Put the boxes in front of me or in front of the sidewalk while I'm trying to take a run, like, just, you know. And the funny part is, he's this construction worker. He was, you know, when I moved here as a kid, he was already an adult, right? But it's like, dude, you're a bitch. At the end of the day, you're a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna just mean mug me and hear rumors and then believe them and roll with them? Let your friends call me, drop N-bombs in front of the yard, and just sit there and with your tail between your legs and whatnot? You know what I mean? When everyone else, it was weird because he was cool before. But then that one guy came, and then he started spreading rumors, and I don't know what he was feeding them, you know, but they believed it. They believed it, you know. Hell, even people in my house believed it for a minute, but, you know, through me doing my routine, they had to see, well, he's not doing any of those things. But that's how bad it was, dude. That's how bad it was. I'm hurt, man. That sucks. And don't worry, I'm not going to tear up or anything right now, but it's more rage right now. Like, if anything, I'm not going to let any rage out, but it's like, at this moment right now, that sucks, dude. That sucks. That really sucks. I had people on the side that used to live, you know, on the side that would, like, they had something surveillance set up and in my house, you know, because as soon as I moved to a certain part, they would move to a certain part. As soon as I would open the door to the backyard, their door would open to the backyard. All the way to a point that one day, they came out at the same time as me, as usual, and I was like, what the heck? And I turned, and they didn't know my mom was right there in the kitchen. I go, did you hear that? And they ran back in so fast. They got caught, dude. they were trying to be sneaky. Just like there's like 3 people that moved here and they just wanted to cause trouble. I think they were trying to fit in or something, you know. We just want an opportunity on some of that type of shit. So they're gonna like follow the crowd and then sabotage someone's name, on some hoe shit basically. Because 1, you don't know me. 2, I haven't done anything. And 3, anyone that comes here starts off at a 10. You dropped at a 0 on your own. I didn't assist you on that. You know what I mean? Only you could do that. So that's it actually turned me into who I am though, because I had no choice, because no one, like I said, no one was believing me, man, and I had to quit work. See, I already had a hard time holding a job, but it's like by this time the last job that I had, there was 3 chances I had at Taco Bell, Denny's, and Carl's Jr. And one of them still hasn't even paid me yet, and it's been 4 years, dude. Every time I stopped going in 3 years ago, but every time I go in, a cop would be there, or some weird, they would cop attitude with me, act like you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I'll get them another way, not, legally. And if I have to I mean, look, if I have to expose them, because if they're doing it to me, 9 times out of 10 they're doing it to someone else. And I don't play that, You don't play with people's money if they're working hard and they're working for you. First of all, you're not the owner of Carl's Jr. You're just the manager. You manage the money, you manage the store. You should maybe manage your how you actually intake information and actually keep working with work and the outside with the outside, Denny's, I go in there and I'm on my break, and these 2 guys just come up and they sit right at my table and they start speaking to each other, and there's other seats in there, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. They were speaking a different language, but I don't care. I speak languages too, but it's like, how rude is that? I'm trying to be alone here at this table, and you come up, it's this behavior that's really new to me, man, because no one was acting like that here 8 years ago at all. This is new to me, man. And what's even weirder is because I tell people in my house, Mom, something's up with people at the stores and the way people on my block, not the ones that got hoodwinked, not the original ones, because I love them at the end of the day, not the original people, but there's something wrong with these new people that are coming here, because they're giving me death stares and stuff, and you know what I mean, and spitting at me, and one kid was 17, and that was 2 years ago, and he spit at me and gave me the death stare, and and then all of a sudden, a year ago I started doing push-ups and working out hardcore, and then every time I walk by, his whole body is turned. He makes sure he turns his whole body, as he should. As he should. You spit at me. You should be cowering away, And then the day after that, they have turns out they have some punching bag outside, so they're fighters, huh? Oh, okay, good. You think I care? You know what I mean? It sucks I have to talk like that, but you know what I mean? You think just because you're a fighter, you could do that, and treat, first of all, you're 17 years old spitting at a 35-year-old guy you don't even know, who's never done anything to you. So when I walked by a couple weeks ago, I just said, I didn't even look at him. I said, I still remember what you did. Boy, he looks spooked, and he should be. And I'm not going to do anything. No, I just want him to be scared. You spit at me, dude. You wanted to mean mug me for no reason. I don't know who the fuck you are, dude. I said, everyone here starts off at a 10. Dude, you're at a -5. You're worse than the guy that's stalking me, because you look like you want to kill me, and I don't even know you, kid. But now you're of age. Also, yesterday or 2 days ago, he has his dad in the yard Oh, he looks like a fighter too. Ask me if you think I care. I'll snatch his soul out of his body, dude. Right in front of his dad. You know what I mean? That's the thing, I'm not a violent guy. People keep forcing my hand or forcing me to come to uh, this mindset, you know, and it sucks because I'm not like that, you know. By nature, I'm the bubbly guy, you know. Maybe people didn't like it or something. I have no clue, uh, but I'm gonna just make this clear. I'm not gonna go starting trouble. But when I walked by and then the son turned his whole body around, I looked at his dad and I just shook my head. Now his dad is gonna have to ask his son, am I shaking my head at him? His son's gonna have to tell the truth. You know what I mean? So I did that because the other choice was to tell them that I know you're 18 now, and next time you spit at me, I don't give a fuck if your dad's in the yard with you. I'll smack the shit out of you. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to do that. But it's like, people, you know, first of all, if I didn't do anything to you, you shouldn't have a problem with me. Second, if you are doing that, well, you're giving me no choice but to actually handle business, dude. I have to stand on business. Why do you think I've worked out now? I've had 3 attempts in my 30s of these kids trying to come up and act like they're gonna jump me, dude. So I took a boxing class and ended up hurting my back a couple weeks later. But I had to, I had to get, stronger because it's like these kids are on some other level, man. They just want to start crap for no reason, and it's like I'm not gonna go out of my way, but goddamn, I'm gonna defend myself because the kid that spit at me one of the days, I'm walking across the street and he's at the adjacent side ahead of me, or he's ahead of me, so I walk to the adjacent street so I can avoid him, and him and his friends try to walk to the adjacent street to where I was going to be, like on some creepy, like they're trying to scare me, so I was just like, oh, I'm not in the mood, so I went the other way. I walked back to where I was, and they went back, and I just shook my head like, I'm not the one, dude. I don't care if you're a fighter, dude. I don't even care if you have a gun, I really don't. Do you think I'm going to wait for a fight? Do you think I'm going to have a sanctioned fight with you? It's just going to, and everything's just going to go all better? And then you're a fighter, so you'd win. Why would I play your game? Why? Do you think I'm stupid, or, you know what I mean? What's your major malfunction, like if you think that? So, like I said, he turns around now every time. He's been turning around now every time I walk by, as he should. But I don't want people to fear me like that. That's not who I am, dude. Dude, I can't even, but they put me in this position where I had to be so stoic that there's only a few neighbors that I smile at because they've been so nice the whole time, man. And I love these people, I'll have their back forever. But the other ones, it's just like, you put me in a position where I just have to one, I have Asperger's, so I don't like small talk anyway, right? But you put me in a position where I'm not as jolly and like, hey neighbor, I wasn't that jolly. You get what I'm saying though? It was just like, hey, I can't be like that anymore. People saw that as a weakness and started targeting it, and it's like, all right, okay. They thought I was weak because of that, and they didn't realize that this is how we all operated in this small town. Like, where do you think you are, dude? This is a town of retired FBI agents. Are you that stupid, dude? Wow. You think you weren't going to get caught, spreading those rumors and whatnot? So, yeah, man. It would be nice if I can get back to, how I was, once whoever these people are that moved here, like not all of them are bad. Some of them are nice, But it sucks because the other ones that were so mean make it so I don't even want to meet the new ones, even though I can see that they're nice people, So for my safety, and for my peace of mind and to protect my energy, I have to actually stay away and just keep to myself, And at the end of the day, that's what they want. This is all part of a program. They want you to be isolated, you know? They see that you have a light, they want to snuff it out. They want you to be isolated. They want you to be vengeful, hateful, so that any rumor that they make up, well, people can say, well, yeah, look how he's acting. He's so mad, you know what I mean? And not without putting two and two together of why he's that mad, why I'm that mad, you know what I mean? So, but you know, I think I conveyed what I had to say. You know, I think it's fair for me to be able to do that, especially since I didn't get on here raging. You know, I threw some F-bombs, but I think you need to grasp the point and understand where I'm coming from and know what I've went through. And you still haven't even gotten an eighth of what I went through, or a tenth, dude. But you know, you didn't hear me screaming or anything like that. I'm calm, you know. Where most people, if this happened to most people, see, a lot of people that this is happening to are taking their lives, dude. A lot of people around here hear it and they just want to stand quiet. You know, I don't expect anyone to jump into my conversation right now, but people are taking their lives because they're being stalked and harassed and gaslit and the work mobbing and all that whatnot. And it's just sick. It's got to stop, dude. Because if it doesn't stop, something's going to break. And that's not going to be good because let's just say it's not me, it'll be someone else, dude. And you don't know if that person's maybe unhinged or something, and they could do something that's destructive, dude. And I wouldn't go that far, you know what I mean? Like end up hurting other people. They can do, I won't do that, but you know, if you do it to the right person, you know what I mean? You don't know what they're going to do, and at the end of the day, that's irresponsible on the person's part who's actually, you know, antagonizing and prodding the cow, you know, whatever the term is called, you know. Poking and prodding the person. But yeah, you know, a lot, like at least 3 of those people had moved, and now we got nicer people living here again, so that's nice. I have to like leave it on a positive note because not everything's doom and gloom, you know. There's good things that are happening right now, so I'm going to leave it on a positive note. There are still nice people on this street, you know, that I actually love, you know, that I help in a heartbeat. There's still actually good people. Most of the bad people are gone now, but I know there's some lingering, but they didn't really give me problems. I don't really care what you got going on as long as you leave me alone, you know. I mean, there's going to be things going on anywhere you go in the world, but as long as you leave me and my family alone and the people that I love, and you're not hurting any kids or anything else, and you're keeping your business inside, dude, be you, man. Gee golly, be yourself, dude. Who am I to judge? You know? So, damn, it's 27 miles a day. Almost 30 minutes. I guess I had to get that out. You know, better that I do these videos and get it out like this than in a destructive way, right? Because actually, what I've noticed is doing these is very therapeutic. So, whether you like it or not, you're going to get it. And if you don't have to come to my channel. It's that simple, you know? But, let's see. 2.30. Again, I got love for everyone here, man. I don't want to be the bad guy. All I say is just don't force my hand, you know? Don't force my hand. It's not smart. You don't understand, dude. You don't know. You have no idea who I am, dude. You don't have any idea who you're messing with. You're going off of some rumors, but you don't really have a leg to stand on. So hopefully, you know, with a few people that have just moved, I mean, they better have moved. You know what I mean? and not just be getting some renovation on the house. Because if they, if they come back starting stuff, they're gonna force my hand, and I don't want that to happen. But this is my proof right here, because if I go, they put like, I don't even want to say it, man. That put my family in danger. So anyway. 9, day 9. Well, despite my ramblings, me prattling about, mate, we did get in everything. Well, I lied. I gotta still do the wall sit, but there's no way I'm gonna sit for another 5 minutes out here. It's pretty warm, but all right, I think that's it. So with that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.